Hello and welcome back to my craft room where I have a sea of green on my desk. So I've just come back to do a kind of a follow-up to show you how I'm getting on with my first assignment for the colour inspiration journal that I just started a few days ago. So this is going to be an ongoing project for, well, however long it takes. We're working from the book I've left downstairs, which is called Exploring Colour. And it's by Julia Caprara. But I'm also bringing in lots of other wonderful, inspiring reference books as we go along. So I know a few people are joining in with this, which is really exciting. It helps keep me motivated, and it's so lovely to see all the different takes on the idea. And people are sharing pictures already of what they're pulling together. And yeah, it's just lovely. So if you are joining in, please do share pictures in the Facebook group or in the Discord community. It's all free. I will put my link tree in the description box so that you can join in if you would like to. I've just created a new room in the Discord community, which is called, funny enough, Colour Inspiration Journal, as somewhere to share, because some people will be very much going more arty with this, and some people will be going more stitchy or other crafts, or some people like me will be mashing it all together. I think it was Kerry on Facebook the other day who described it as creative, colourful mashup or something. It's exactly what this is. I'm not going to go on about the basic things. I can't do that every time I do one of these videos. I will link to the playlist, the Colour Inspiration Journal playlist. This will only be the third video on it, but it'll grow with time. So I said I'd come back and just let you know how I'm doing with my green. So the basic idea, let's go to my desk. So here's my basket here with all my green goodies. So I had all sorts of fabrics and trims and bits and bobs. I also used I had this watercolour paint set. I got this was a cheap set of Daler-Rowney gouache. It's just 6 colours, but it's the 6 basic colours which you can kind of mix a good range from. You won't always get, you can't always get a good purple with the red and the blue that you happen to have in these sets. It's not quite true that you can mix all of the colours that you want, but you can get a good range. And this was in the pound shop. It wasn't a pound, but it was about £3, I think. So, and they seem to be perfectly good. And then in here, this lovely pencil case. Which Liz sent me. Liz has some lovely things that she's made up for sale in the Makers Market in Discord. So if you're in the Discord community, have a look at the rooms down the left, and you've got Makers Market and lots of our lovely members in there who have their own creations up for sale. So check that out if you haven't already. So in here I've got some Frisk acrylic markers and the brush pens. I also use some Inktense pencils. I've just got one left there at the moment. I use some gesso. I've still got more to do. I've still got more supplies to play with in here, but I just thought I'll come back now and just show you what I've done so far and give you a little bit of a heads up about what we're going to do next week, and also a way that you can, if you're getting on well with this and you want to expand on it a little bit, just a couple of ideas for extra things you could do. The idea was to just pick the one colour, and this is just for a warm-up project. We're not just going to be working with this one colour the whole way through. This is just an initial warm-up point. It was one of the first assignments suggested by Julia in the book, and she also suggested using a little sketchbook. Some of us I've got this sketchbook I'm going to be using with mixed media paper in it, reasonably heavyweight, not that heavy, it's got 200 GSM. Some people are just going to be concentrating on stitching. You could adapt this to suit whatever arts and crafts you're into, or if like me you're into all of them, you can definitely just bring in all those supplies you've got. That's a good chance to do a bit of stash busting, bring out all of those supplies that you don't use often enough and give them a bit of a workout. I decided to make a little book, and I just made it up out of different junk and things, and mixed up paper and fabric and all sorts of things. Now, I've just been this morning watching Susie Q Makes here on YouTube. She's following along. She's chosen blue, and I've just watched her initial video where she's showing the supplies that she's brought together, and it looks amazing. She's kind of going very much the same way that I'm going, I think, but you know, we may veer off. I think everybody will find their own path with this little adventure. So I will link to Susie Create and Craft with Christine, also here on YouTube. Oh wow, she got a massive set of Inktense sticks for Christmas. I think she got the 72 colours. Wow, she is really enjoying those, and that is what she's focusing on for this project. She's using the Inktense sticks to colour fabric, which she's then going to stitch into. It just looks amazing. She's created these beautiful patterns. I think go and check it out. I will link to both of their channels, so do go and check them out if you haven't already. I can't wait to see where they both go with this. So that's the kind of, and then if you look on Discord, and I haven't checked into Facebook this morning, I don't know if anyone's shared what they're putting together in there, but yeah, everybody will find their own way with this. I made this little book because I thought it was a fun idea, but you could just, if you've got a sketchbook like this or a little journal that you're working in or whatever, you could just do one double spread and just fill it with all of the green. I just went through my craft room, and anything that was green went in my basket. Basically, I went through all of my supplies, used all the green, all different shades of green, because I picked green. So, but you could just do one double spread in a journal, or you could just do a little mini mood board. That would be good. That would, you know, it's just a starting point, just a little warm up to get us really exploring all the shades of one particular colour this time. We'll be bringing in more colours as we go along. We'll be exploring all of the colours. You could also, if you're more into stitching, you could just do a little square, like the squares we've been doing for the swaps, a little 10cm square. Do all different shades of green on that, you know, try different stitches and different fabrics and different textures and things, you know, whatever. Just pick that one colour and celebrate it in all its shades. That was just the warm-up. Let me show you, let me stop waffling on and show you what mine is like. Now I've got more work I want to do on this, so I will do some more over the weekend. I'm going to tie lots of bits and bobs down here to make it look interesting. This is just magazine pages on here, which I collaged on and then did a bit of gesso. I get this just white gesso in a huge pot because it's cheaper. And then I just used some acrylic paint around there just to, you know, and I've just got something, I don't know, an empty reel or something that I just stamped a couple of circles out just to make it look a bit more artsy. I haven't done anything on the back yet. So if you can see, that's a broken envelope. Right, and then what I ended up doing was dividing my greens into yellow green right through to blue greens. This one was just a magazine page and then gesso. I think I showed the making of this one, and I used Neocolor 2 crayons here, so they're, or was it them or was it Distress crayons? I had different water soluble crayons that I used for that, but you could use anything. And some of my offcuts I used to make little swatches, so this was trying out different shades of green, of yellow green through to blue green, which I mixed up with the gouache, and I just had a blue, a yellow and a green, and sort of mixed them together to get these different shades. I've collaged bits and pieces of magazine paper, a bit of mulberry paper there, that's a little pocket so I can stick that in. I used, just to add a little bit of, sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of, you want a bit of darkness, don't you? So yes, it's all green, but there's also black and white in here, and little flashes of other colours. There's a bit of yellow there, isn't there? But I used this Indian ink colour Inktense pencil, and I just went round some of the outlines and then just smudged them with a wet finger. I just dipped my finger in my paint water and just to give them a bit of definition, just because I liked the look of it. Pom-pom trim there, layers and layers of stuff here. This was gessoed and then different colours of, I think that was gouache I used on there. You can see I enjoyed doing this thing with the magazine page and getting it to sort of fade out. I quite liked that. Postcard I chucked in there, got the yellow and green. I love these old adverts. It looks so romantic, but that's actually advertising cigarette papers, isn't it? Little snippets of fabric on here. That's another pocket. I've got a little envelope with green sequins, a bit more collage in the background. I just sat here and then took them downstairs and carried on just cutting and sticking, and then I brought it back up the next day, plastered a lot of paint around, and then I took it back down yesterday evening and did some stitching. So it's kind of been a 3 evening kind of job. This was acrylic paints there, mixing up different shades of green in the acrylics. Loved the look of this curly felting wool. Oh, I've got my face over it. This I'm going to tie on. I'm going to get a bit of fibre or something and tie it on and just have it dangling here somewhere. Quite like the look of it on there, but I didn't want to cover up the tree. I'll probably do some more swatching on the back of that, or make notes, or do little drawings or whatever. This is watercolour, mixing up the different shades in the watercolour, just out of that one little palette. Just love that tree. And one of the things that I love, and I've tried over the years, tried different ways of depicting it and never quite been successful. So maybe this will be the time that'll happen. But trying to capture that feeling of when you look up through trees with sunlight, kind of dappled sunlight coming through, and you've got the layers and layers of leaves with the lighter ones at the front going darker and darker at the back. Just love that, and that reminds me of that. Going more towards bluer greens here. I did a bit more, another magazine page, put some paint markers on there. These are really blue greens now. And then I've done a little bit of stitching here, but I want to do more to this, so I will carry on and work on that more over the weekend as well. I might stitch that little heart. I'll probably stitch into that as well. That was just painted with acrylic paints, I think. Yeah. I've got some spaces here. I'll tell you what I'll do with them in a minute. This is just a bit of random collage. I might get my paint pens out or something, or I don't know, something else. Just have a go. I've still got other supplies in green to try. And then I've got some spares here. Well, this was all watercolours, so I just used again a yellow, a green and a blue, and kind of mix them in different ways to get different shades of green. I might doodle into that or whatever if I feel like it. I might just leave it like that. This, I might just do some little studies of green leaves or something on there. I don't know. Little envelope to put things in. That'll probably get coloured at some point. So I've still got some bits and papers left here to use, and I might swatch more supplies, but I have got a couple other ideas I'll tell you in a minute. Oh, this was Neo Colour 2s, Distress Crayons and Gelato. So they all those are the different water soluble crayons that I happen to have stashed away. Bit of collage here with some of the pattern papers that I had. I loved all the different textures and things, and the fact that all of these are shades of green but look so different. This was coloured with alcohol inks, and I'm going to stitch into it. It's a bit drab for me, so I'll probably use kind of a limey green. I'm definitely swinging towards the more limey greens. I used limey kind of green stitching on that one as well. And then this was alcohol inks on top of gesso. I put gesso on the back of this and then did alcohol inks, and I might doodle on that if I feel like it, or I might just leave it like that. That is where I am at so far. I will finish this up over the weekend, do something about the cover. If I feel like it, I might do a nice little wrap, because something like, I mean, that was just all done while I was watching Doctor Who yesterday evening. It's pretty quick to do. I quite like doing them. And I might just do a little wrap like that just to bring the whole thing together, and then that will help to keep in any other bits I stuff in there, you know. So I've got this packaging stuff that I showed before that I can stitch fabrics and trims onto. And I've got all the different threads and things and wool fibres and stuff that I want to do some, like a little sampler of the threads and things that I've got that will get stuffed in there as well. So something that will wrap around and keep it all together, or I might just do a tie. I'll see how it goes. I'll show you how that finally turned out next week. If you're doing a little bit like me and you're getting on well and you want to just explore it a little bit further, or if you've just done maybe one or two pages in your journal, or you've done a stitch square or whatever, and you're really into it and you want to just explore this stage a little bit further, one idea Julia suggests is to find things around your house in a certain colour. So I'm going to stick with the green, and I'm going to find three or four different items around my house. You could go off for a walk, I'm doing green, I could go off for a walk in the woods and bring some leaves back, or let me show you some of the things that I'm thinking about. I got some pictures up on Google. These are all things that I could find without going further than my own house and garden. I've already recorded this once, forgot to go to screen recording, and recorded myself blaring away about it without actually showing you the pictures. So, starting again now. God. So this first one I've got here is this picture of lovely, juicy limes. I've always got these in my house because they go in my gin and tonic. So what I would do here is find a picture in a magazine and stick it in my journal, or draw a little picture, or take a photo, or just make some notes. So the kind of notes I would make here, I would just use odd words like zingy, juicy, yellow green, zesty. If you look at the texture, so whatever things you pick up, really look closely at them, think about the texture. How do they feel in your hand? This is sort of waxy feeling, it's pitted. Colours there, you've got the real classic limey green, but you've also got the yellow in the flesh and a dark kind of bluer green in the leaf. Try and pick 3 or 4 different things with very different textures. So this next one, again, something I have in my house all the time this time of year, because I get it in my veg box, and John won't eat it, so I have to eat it all. But this is curly kale, and there are all kinds of other, cabbage and broccoli and all those kind of things would also be really interesting colours and textures. But look at this one, this picture that I brought up large at the side here. Look at the shades of green in that one area. So you've got yellow green right through to blue green there, and I'd write down things like curly, dense, crunchy, squeaky, because they feel, if you squeeze it in your hand, it feels almost squeaky, and just look really closely at the texture of it and make notes about it, or draw just a little section of it, or, as I say, just find a picture online and clip it out and stick it in, or in a magazine or something. Another very different texture here, and again something like not difficult to find in my house, because we've got a whole collection of these glass bottles on the window ledge in my bathroom, so where the light comes through them, and they look really pretty. I love the kind of bluey green colour of them, and the way the light comes through them, and you can see through one bottle to the bottle behind, if that makes sense. So the kind of words I'd write here would be reflective, transparent, layers, blue-green. It would be an interesting one if you are into doing art. It would be a really interesting exercise to draw these. I find it very hard drawing glass, but these kind of blue-green glass bottles are really nice to draw. It's such a pretty colour, and because you've got a bit of colour there, it does make it easier to draw than a clear glass bottle. Well, I think so anyway. And then grass, and this is fairly typical of how our lawn looks at this time of the year, and the kind of words I'd use here would be cool, soft, spiky, fresh, lush, just things that would layers, multiple layers. And it's just, imagine that feeling of when you take your shoes off and stand on the grass with your bare feet, or run your fingers through it, that feeling. Write down a few words that kind of capture that. Maybe do a little close-up picture of just a tiny area, just a tiny little bit of grass. If you found something like this, it's not ideal, but you know the kind of thing I mean. And then the last one that I found, again something that I can easily find in my house, is like it could be a blanket, it could be a scarf, a throw, or whatever. This is an olive green one. It looks almost brown there, but it is an olive green. I'd write down words like warm, cozy, fuzzy, soft, fringing. I love the look of that fringing there, not necessarily kind of in a literal way as fringing, but I just love the look of all those laid over one another, and it's the kind of thing I would just sit and draw or doodle, just a little sort of close-up section of that. And again, that's if you're into your drawing and things, you could just doodle a little close-up sketch. It'd be a really nice little addition to your journal, and just make some notes, because that'll all come in handy later on. That's not something you have to do. It's very much up to you. So if you're more into the kind of arty side of it, do little drawings and things. Start creating a little palette of colours maybe. So you could just take a photo from a magazine, a bit like I showed some of the ones in there. Just start trying to mix the colours in paint or pencils or whatever media you're using. Mix the colours for that particular item that you found. If you're more into the stitching side of things, pull together some pieces of fabric and things that exactly match the colours in that photo that you found, or that little drawing that you've made, and just start thinking about, just have it in the back of your mind about, if you were trying to represent that in a stitch, in a textile form, how would you show those textures? How would you show those colours and textures that you can see in the item that you've found? So it's just like a little extra kind of just starting to gather inspiration from the world around you, which is what this project is all about. But you don't have to do all that. It's just a little extra if you want to go that way. I think I probably will do a bit of that, and that will just fill up the rest of this little mini journal. And then next week I'll be ready to go into my big journal. And so just to give a small heads up, but I'm not going to say too much about it, I'll just give you a small heads up though. Next week we will be bringing in another colour. So we'll be looking at creating a complementary colour scheme, and just adding a little pop of a complementary colour to the colour that you've been working with. Or, you know, if you want to, you can change and pick a whole new colour to start working with. Totally up to you what you do with it. This is very much, it's going to be quite hard for me as I go along. I'm trying to kind of structure this in such a way that it will work for whichever way you are choosing to interpret it. But you know, essentially it's up to you what you do with it. I'm just going to share the prompts and show you what I'm doing, and I think this will kind of evolve as we go along, and we'll all be inspired by each other. I've already been inspired watching Christine and Susie start on their projects, and then if you go into Discord this morning, I was looking at what Jen's put in, what she's pulled out. Who else was there? Let me have a look a minute. So here we are in our Discord community. This is a general chit chat room where you sort of generally hang out most of the time, but down the left hand side here are all the different rooms where you go for specific things, and I've just added this morning this colour inspiration journal room down here on the left under the public gallery section. Up there is the Makers Market I was talking about a moment ago. Here's the colour inspiration one. There we go, there's some pictures Jen's posted of her beautiful purple collection that she's started working on, and it was Jen that first inspired me to get started on this project. And as she says there, anything goes, don't think too hard about it. You're celebrating that colour. You've pulled out all those lovely supplies that you've got, and you're just playing. Look at some of these lovely things. Just in case anybody doesn't know, if you click on a picture in Discord like this, oh look at that, and it comes up bigger to start with. If you're on the phone, I guess it's different, but I'm looking on a PC. Underneath you'll see it comes up open in browser. If you open in browser, you can see you get it. It's huge. In fact, you can go right in and look at really close-up detail. So that's worth knowing if you want to look at anything in closer detail. Let's just see if anybody's done anything in the Facebook group while we're here. Oh, look there now. Paula has started a colour inspiration journal. She's picked green as well. Surrounded by green, live in a rainforest. Oh, look. So what's she done? She's painted the 4 fabric pieces she's going to use. She's started on the first paper one. Paula does beautiful artwork and beautiful stitching and crochet and things as well. So went stencil mad on one piece of cloth. Oh, look at that. That is gorgeous. So this is very much, this shows exactly what I'm talking about. You can take this in so many different directions. Lovely. Can't wait to see how that develops. Have we got any more? A lot of this is still, oh look, a lot of this is still stitchery swap going on. So yeah, I don't think there's any more colour inspiration journal posts in here yet, but I should be putting my photos in there soon, so hopefully that will get the ball rolling. So you can see, you can take it in different directions. You can do what you like with it. You can make it short and sweet, or you can really go to town. It's up to you how much time you want to spend on it, and which arts and crafts you love. And if you're like me, you'll do a bit of everything. That gives you a little kind of hopefully a better idea of what this is all about, and where we're going to be going with it. But I'm very much making it up as we go along. I'm doing some planning, but you know, I'm open to see where it takes me, to be honest. And let me know what you think. Let me know what colours you're choosing. It's been nice to see in the comments already people saying what colours they're going into for this first little warm-up exercise. As I say, next week we'll be bringing in some more colour, because colour's what it's all about for me. Colour, texture and pattern as well, but colour is just, it's just, for me, that's the most important thing, the thing that really lights me up. Oh, don't forget, this Saturday coming, 6th of January, it's the first Saturday night in of 2024, where my son Tom and I will be streaming from here in my craft room on YouTube, and this is a real special one because we're celebrating passing 4K and getting the new year off to a bang with, it was 9 giveaways, it's now 12 giveaways because a couple of extra people have come in and donated prizes. So Sylvia Back has donated a fabric journal. It's all full of blank fabric pages which you could use to put your stitchery squares in, or to create your colour inspiration journal, whatever you like really. So she's going to do that for people in the UK. Gabby of Gabby Chic Dolls has donated 2 beautiful packs of, it's kind of fabric and ephemera from an Etsy shop I forgot the name of the Etsy shop, but Gabby has bought the packs and she will post them directly to the winners. Again, UK only for those. But we've got prizes wherever you are in the world. There is a prize for you or there is a prize you're in with the chance of winning. We've got different prizes just going to different parts of the world, if that makes sense. So don't forget, this Saturday 6th of January 8 p.m. UK time, we'll probably go on about to about 10, and we'll be drawing the prizes all the way through. If you want to enter before the live stream, you don't have to be at the live stream to win, and you can get extra entries by finding the giveaway posts on Facebook and Instagram and in Discord. I will put my link tree in the description box so you can find your way to all those places. Quite enough waffle from me. I'm really going now. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again soon on Saturday, if not before. Bye. What a lot of waffle.